Welcome to the Books and Martinis podcast.
I'm Priya.
And I'm Mercy.
And this is your go-to book podcast,
where we lift, empower, and spotlight authors.
Grab your martini and follow along.
And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to our podcast. I'm Priya.
And I'm Mercy. Welcome, everybody. And today, welcome Giovanna Silvestre.
Cheers.
Here's to you. Cheers.
Cheers.
We know you're in
Thank
Italy.
you. So happy to be here. Cheers.
Salud. You guys, on the screen, in your ears, is Giovanna Silvestre. Welcome to our podcast. We're so excited to have you.
So happy to have you
thank
here.
you. Thank you so much for having me, ladies. I so appreciate it.
Oh, no. We're glad we finally caught you still somewhere because we had to reschedule a couple of times. You were in different parts of the world, but now we got you in Italy. So it's like, okay, stop for 1 minute, talk to us, and then you could go on skiing and living your best life. We love it. So we are here today to talk about your beautiful and inspiring book, The Confused Girl, Find Your Peace in the Chaos. It is an excellent book. I've truly enjoyed it. I'm going to, as I was telling you earlier, gift it to my daughters, to one of my girls. I really think she'll truly enjoy it and make so much out of it. It's a great inspiration. And I know that it is part memoir and part guidebook. So it's storytelling, which is beautiful. Mm-hmm. And you talk a lot about you and your experiences. And that's how this comes about. And you're open. You're literally an open book. You talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I love how organic it is and how you are in it.
Why don't you tell our listeners and our viewers about you?
Okay, so my name is Giovanna Silvestre. I'm a confused girl, and I wrote I wrote a book for all the other confused girls in the world. It's hard that I find that like kind of a hard question because it's like, how far back do you want me to go? When I was born, where I was.
Well, you owned a clothing company before you wrote this book, right?
Yeah, so I did. And then even before that, I worked in the film industry in Los Angeles for some really amazing companies on some big projects. And then
so why don't you start there? Start there.
Okay. So I worked in Hollywood. I worked at Marvel Studios, and I worked on a big project, and I was the director's assistant, and I was like 25, and I write about this in the book. And I got really high up pretty quickly in the industry. At some point, I was like, I'm not happy doing this. I am dealing with so many difficult personalities, and I'm good at what I do. Like when I put my mind to something, I'm very disciplined, and I go 100%. But I was like, I'm also a very sensitive soul, and I didn't like having to manage so many egos. So then I thought, okay, you know what? Let me not do this. Let me go, and maybe I'll take over my parents' restaurant. So my father's from the south of Italy. My mom's Irish, and they own an Italian restaurant in San Luis Obispo, California. And I thought, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll take over the restaurant. Very successful restaurant. And, there's like diamonds in your backyard. Why don't you go and, do that? Mm-hmm. So I'm working in the restaurant, and I'm filling I'm filling olive oil bottles, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I went to USC and I'm doing and now I'm doing this. Not there's anything wrong with that, but it wasn't my purpose. I just felt like I wasn't being courageous. I wasn't figuring it out.
You were settling.
I was just going with the default, right? Mm-hmm. And my father had a very strong personality, and so we'd fight a lot. And I'm like, this is not worth hurting the relationship with my father. And I was like, and this is not me either. I loved growing up in the restaurant business and being a part of it, but I don't want to own one. And so I went back to LA and I just totally fell into like a deep depression. And I had no idea who I was, what I wanted to do. I just broken up with my boyfriend. I'm broke. I'm
Mhm.
also not in the best place with my family. And so much of my self-worth came from who I thought I should be and what I thought would look good to other people.
Mhm.
And I went into this depression and I really understood that if I am going to live this life, I need to change my thinking. I need to change my way of being. I need to change my whole perspective on myself and how I want to live. And I would say one thing that I really understood, which I have to like give myself kudos, my younger self kudos for this,
Mhm.
because I thought, you know what? I felt like I really had no self worth, right? I was totally dependent on the outside world for my self worth. And I understood that. And then I said to myself, okay, if you can cultivate self worth that's not attached to anything, it's not because you have a new boyfriend. It's not because you're making some good money. It's not because you have a cool job. It's not because you have these friends, this family, whatever it is, right? If you could just cultivate self worth because you're you're not a bad person, you're a good person
Yeah.
Mhm.
and you exist. And I do believe like I am a child of God. I am a child of the universe, right? I believe we all are. And I'm like, you know what? If I can do that, then no matter what comes my way, I will be strong. I will survive and I'll be happy. I can find peace. And so
Love that.
that then was like, okay, we need to figure out how to do this. And then that's really where like all the advice in my book I give. And it's basically me just sharing like this is how I did that.
And so in reading your book, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to spoil it for anybody else, because it's definitely worth the read on their own. You go through the phase where, sorry about that. You go through the phase where you decide that you're going to leave the restaurant, you're going to leave everything else. You kind of feel like you hit rock bottom, right? I think there's even a part that you're in the kitchen and you're like, what am I doing?
Mhm.
What's happening? And you kind of reach out for help. And then you start the clothing line and you actually admire, which I thought was funny because I went to her store and I bought her book. I think it's Sophia Amoroso. She had the Nasty Gal book, right? And
Yes,
the big
yes,
hashtag of girl boss back then. And I remember
yes.
going to LA and to her shop because I just loved her and I loved her book and it was autographed and all the whole thing. So you were
Hmm.
inspired by her and you kind of envisioned having this big company with like 500 employees and this fashion line and being a badass
Yes. But
boss.
but that came after I pulled myself out of the depression. Because there's no
Right.
way I could have
Done
when
that
I was in the
prior.
depression, it was like you just need to concentrate on like helping yourself and getting out of this. And then it was like a year later that I got inspired to do my yoga wear line.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
And
Wait,
when
so
and
did the book, did you start the process of writing the book? At what point? Was it right before the clothing line, right after the clothing
oh, it was
line?
after. It was like
Okay.
it was like 2 years after. See,
Okay.
it's so
That's what I
funny
thought.
because yeah, it's so funny
Okay.
because the other day I did a book club meetup and somebody asked me, "Well, how did you organize all this? Like how did you like and then you got published and I'm like, organize? I didn't organize any of this. I literally, and I say this in my book, I love this quote. It's one of my favorite quotes. It says, it's a mistake to look too far into the future because the
Hmm.
chain of destiny is grasped one link at a time.
Correct.
Mm.
So I wasn't like, in my depression going, oh, I'm going to create an active world. I'm like, no, I just need to like survive, right? I just
Survive
need
today.
to get out of this. Then when I got out of it and I was doing better, I was like, okay, you know what? I am now open to finding my purpose because I feel like I've cultivated some self-worth and I've healed some aspects, right? And I'm now open to the universe, God showing me like what to do next, right? And I was working part-time jobs. I was a nanny, I was an Uber brand ambassador. I was working all these part-time jobs. And then it was like, and through the book you'll find this how I was inspired then to start my activewear line.
So how does the crystal element come into the clothing line?
Oh, the spirituality of it.
Well, I got very spiritual. I've always been spiritual, you know. I think like, because I'm
Hmm.
thinking about when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I remember this, and I never talked about this because I felt almost ashamed or sad about it or scared about it in a way. But when I was like a baby, I had this like hot air balloon, you know, child thing hanging in my room, like, and
Hmm.
it was like above my like crib, right?
Hmm.
And I would see scary faces in it,
Oh, wow.
Oh.
really scary. And I basically, you know, I was like a couple, I don't know, maybe a couple years old, and I told I like somehow communicated to my mom, like, take it down because I, I think spirits were visiting me and I was seeing their faces and that. So, like, I had my mom take it down.
Hmm.
And I actually never told anybody that before. You guys are the first I've
Oh,
ever told
wow.
that to.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for opening
Yeah.
up.
Yes. Yes. Oh my
but I think
goodness.
it's happened to a lot of people. I think that's
Hmm.
actually happened to a lot of people. Um, but you know, you go into the schooling system, and the schooling system, you know, I'm not dissing the schooling system, but it just kind of teaches you how to be part of the herd
Hmm.
and how to function in society, which we need to know how to function in society. So that's a good thing. But it really, you start activating your left brain. But I was a very much a right brain person. I was writing poetry when I was a kid and I was very creative. And then I just shut it off.
Mhm.
And so I felt like even going through the depression opened up that other part of me.
Okay.
And then once that was open, I I mean, the whole activewear line, how that came up. I was doing a lot of yoga at the time. There wasn't a lot of yoga brands out there. It was like Lululemon was very niche. And then there
Mm.
was maybe a couple of independent boutique brands. I know that's crazy to imagine now because like everybody and their
Right.
mother makes yoga pants,
Yep.
yoga
Right.
leggings. But then it wasn't. So I was literally on I was like ahead of the curve kind of thing.
Right.
And I met this healer and we had this crazy connection. He was like this old school healer. And he had this room full of crystals and he told me to take two crystals. I didn't know anything about crystals. And I took them home and then I was meditating and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to create a yoga wear line inspired by healing crystals."
Oh, I
I
love
am from
that.
California. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We're not
Enough said,
stereotyping
right?
here, okay?
But you know, and then I just did it. And that took again like a year to actually create them. And then to get them off the ground, that took another year to figure out how to sell them. And that's where Nasty Gal Sophia Amoroso comes in because
Hmm.
I watched her on a podcast and she said, you need to, if you don't have any money, which I didn't, she said, you need to find a free way to advertise yourself because
Hmm.
marketing's very expensive.
Yeah.
Right.
And I had been going to and around LA and I was at all of the markets in LA vending my stuff and I'd be there all day long and it's like lugging all this stuff and you sell like 7 pairs and it's like okay but that's still not great for
For the whole day you spent. Right.
exactly and then you're paying to be there too, right?
Right.
So it's like
Right.
a loss. And and I was like, Instagram, because you have to imagine this is like 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So Instagram was fairly new.
Right.
So I just used the heck out of it and I connected with all these yogis around the world. And then I started selling all over the world.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I was selling thousands of crystal inspired yoga pants all over the
Mm-hmm.
world. Like there was a moment when it was crazy. An intern I had, she was in Munich, Germany, and she's like, "Oh my God, a girl just biked by in your simplicity leggings."
Aw.
What?
And yeah, and I'd see people in Venice Beach in my leggings. It was so cool. It was so cool. But then, you know, it crashed.
Mm,
After all that hard work, all that investment,
yeah.
everything.
What do you mean it
I,
crashed? Was it an outside force or something happening with it?
well, everybody started to make yoga
Mm,
leggings. Everybody started to do it. And then they were able to have a lower price than me because
mm,
I was manufacturing in Los Angeles and they were
Sure.
manufacturing in China.
Sure.
mm.
So it just totally pushed me out of the market. And I mean, no, I still sell my stuff,
Yeah.
like, and I still have my website and everything. But it wasn't like before where actually I was making a living off of it.
Hmm.
Right. Sure. They mass market it, and the authentic small
Yeah.
businesses are the
That
ones
must have
that
been
are
so
hurt by
hard for
it.
you. Yeah.
Right.
You know
But
what's
that
cool
kind
though? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say that inspired you to start traveling. So it served its purpose at the time because
Well, because it was making money, it funded the
right.
traveling. And then I got the inspiration to write my book, and then that's when I left for a couple of years, and it was still making enough money for me to live in, Bali, and while I finished my book. And so it it was sad for me. Like it was a few days where I was like devastated, but it didn't take me down
Good.
because of everything I write about, because I trusted that I was like, okay, if this isn't working anymore, I'm writing this book.
Hmm.
And I think I just knew, I was so inspired to write it. I was like, there's something here, and I don't know what, because I had no agent, I had no publisher, I had nothing. But I was like, there's something here. So I'm just going to keep going on
You have
this
faith.
crazy path that I
Yeah.
have no idea where it's going, but I'm just going to go.
Well, you
Yeah.
have faith in yourself and in the process. And so most of our listeners are writers, authors, readers. So tell us about the process of writing your book. So we know you're in Bali now. We know that the active wear is kind of lingering back there. How long does it take you to write it from the moment you decide I'm going to write it to the day you decide I'm ready to publish? And how does that process look for you? Like, were you there all day writing? Were you writing every other day? Like, how was that whole process, that experience for you?
Well, I really wanted this book to be something completely different than I've ever done before. And I didn't want it to be, okay, you do this and then you write for this many hours, and then this is what you have to do, like, this many chapters in this amount of time. And I was like, no, this is going to be completely inspired. And so one thing I was very disciplined about was I'm very into yoga. Yoga helps me a lot. Like, helps me with my anxiety, it helps my mind, it gives me discipline. And so I would wake up every morning and I would go do my yoga class.
Hmm.
Even my mom laughed one day. She called me and I was like, I can't talk to you right now, I'm going to yoga.
I remember you talking about that because from there you have a very nutritious breakfast, right? You have like a bowl
Yes,
with a
smoothie bowl, smoothie
smoothie bowl,
bowl.
and
Uh-huh.
then you sit and tackle your day. So
And
you,
then, yes, and then I would sit down at a cafe and I would be like, and I'd turn on classical music. I
right.
loved listening to piano, like classical piano. And I would be like, okay, let's see what hits today. And then
Mhm.
honestly, some days I was like, I can't do this. And then I wouldn't fight it. I'd just close my computer and I'd go sightseeing. I'd go see a temple or go home and like binge Netflix or, I just like that's why people go,
You
or
were
did you
feeling
ever?
it.
Yeah. I just let myself be. And then when I wanted to write, I let it just spill out of me. And then it was like some days it was just coming out of me. And I was so inspired and I'd be there for like 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just really let it flow because I was like, I want to do this differently than anything else I've ever done. And it has been completely different. It's so funny when you set that intention and you don't do things like you're a robot because you're not.
Right.
And I literally, like, this whole experience was crazy. So I basically wrote most of it in Bali.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to Berlin and I wrote a bit there and I considered it finished, which it's never finished. Okay. But,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then COVID hit, came back to the States, and I got an agent fairly quickly. I got an agent and I thought, oh my gosh, this is a good omen, right? Because actually two agents wanted to sign me. And then I went with the one who was a bit older and just I just felt like she had just had more experience. Where the other one was with a big company, but I felt like she didn't have the experience. And so followed my intuition there. And then I went with her. And then for 2.5 years, my book was rejected.
Oh,
Wow.
jeez.
So you were
But it
querying.
but it it took you how long to write it
Well,
altogether?
well, see that I can't answer that because that it's a 7-year journey.
Oh,
Okay.
so it was like, oh,
And
I
I
don't know if
wasn't
it's
writing it
finished.
the whole. Yeah, I thought I was
Y-
finished. I thought
Yeah.
I was finished. I did my book proposal. I got the
Okay.
agent. I signed a deal with the agent, signed a contract with the agent. And then for 2 years, I'm being rejected. Okay. The story is crazy. It gets crazier.
Right.
So during this time, my father also gets cancer. And so
Oh.
esophageal cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, we thought he was going to die. And then we did a, chemo radiation. And then he did like a big surgery where they take the stomach and move it up and cut out the esophagus. And then he was cancer free for, I would say like a year, actually almost a year, almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
He was like cancer free. And then it came back. And then it came back fast. And it was like the doctor's like, he doesn't have much time. So then I was basically at home all the time with my parents because I was like, I want to be with my father as much as I can be, right?
Sure.
And we did some trips and stuff, which was really nice. We did some bucket list trips for him. And so my book's being rejected, but I'm like, I don't really care right now about that because my father is my priority. And what I will say about this that I think is really interesting is because of everything I wrote in the book, I could put my entire soul into something, get continually rejected for years, and have my father dying and still find joy in my day.
Yeah. So two things could
Yep.
be true at the same time.
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And not have a boyfriend, not have any
Mm-hmm.
guy that's interested in me, not even have money coming in that much of it,
Mm-hmm.
like very little. I'm making it by, okay? There's
Yeah.
not
Right.
much good happening, but I'm still able to find the joy in the day
Yeah.
because of everything I wrote in my book. And that's what I want
Mm.
for everyone. So then, 2 months before my father dies, and at this time, I'm thinking when it comes to the book, I'm thinking, okay, either I'm probably going to have to self-publish, which is fine. A lot of people do that. That's fine. Um, or I pray a publishing company comes and they don't even have to pay me anything and they just publish it. Like just I don't even care about money. I don't care about money. Just publish it, right? And then two publishing companies have a bidding war on my book.
Get
What?
out after waiting all that time.
And my advance was bigger than I ever thought possible. It's like unheard of for debut authors.
Wow. So Blackstone
Wow.
won it.
Blackstone, yeah. Blackstone won. Yep.
Wow.
Good for
That's
you.
so
And
exciting.
then my father, the best part of this for me is that my father knew my book was going to be published before he passed.
Hmm.
And I told him I was going to dedicate it to him. So he knew.
Oh,
Oh, that's beautiful.
So
That is
that's
beautiful.
why,
And this happened what year? What year was the book actually published and your dad passed?
well, so my dad passed in 2023. And then
Okay.
the book was published in 2025. So
Okay.
you see how long these things take? So then there was like this
Yes.
big like I had to do a big rewrite of the book, which
Okay.
is really which was quite beautiful because I was so emotional from the passing of
yeah.
my father when we had to go back through chapters and rewrite, and I added on a couple more chapters, like
Hmm.
the chapter decoding romantic relationships
Hmm.
Hmm.
and the chapter on decluttering your life.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
Those two were not originally in the book.
Oh,
Oh, okay. And they were great. I enjoyed them. Like
Thank
going through
you.
through the house and your closet and or the dating portion of it.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I
Yeah.
added those two. So, and then that was like that was again, and then that was another 2-year process. So this was the long haul.
It was. I have to tell you, in chapter 10, Be Unstoppable, I absolutely love. I actually wrote it down. The quote that you put, if you realized how beautiful you are, you'd fall at your own feet,
Yeah.
by Byron
Yeah.
Katie. I thought that was so beautiful.
Hmm.
And then
I know. That makes me want to
in
cry.
chapter 6, I absolutely loved the words that you chose to explain leaving LA. So you put that you broke up with LA
Mhm.
as if you had a romantic relationship with LA. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm breaking up with LA. I am traveling the world, and you can't free yourself. You can't force yourself back into love, you say, which I thought was beautiful. Like, what a romantic way of saying goodbye to a place. So
Hmm.
I thought that
Yeah.
was beautiful. So,
The way you wove in your life was very poetic. And I
yes.
really spoke to the lessons that you have in this book and really just loving yourself. The whole journey, you're just trying to love yourself despite what's happening around you. You're just
Mm,
trying to love yourself and not compare
right.
yourself to anybody else and just staying focused on your journey and just you sharing those little nuggets. I mean, that
Yeah.
was brilliant.
Yeah. And I also wanted
Thank
to tell
you.
you
Thank you,
that,
ladies.
yes, absolutely, that for writers, right? So somebody that's trying to figure out how to go about a day without distraction and being
Hmm.
productive in their writing, because most writers are working. You have
Yeah.
either
Hmm.
you're working a full day or you have kids or just life is just crazy and busy all the time. That you talk about getting in the zone. And I thought that is so good for writers. It's for anybody,
Hmm.
clearly, right? Everybody should do that. But specifically in this case, our listeners are writers. Get in the zone, and then you talk about um, how you wake up, and the first thing you do is activity, which you do yoga. Then you have a nutritious meal, and then you take deep breaths to clear your mind. You set your
Hmm.
mood with the proper music, which is the classical music. You light a candle, you look at your vision board, and then you start. So what you've done is you've created a ritual and
Hmm.
you eliminate distraction by
Yeah.
having it just be a ritual. So I thought that was also beautiful information. Again, not for anybody, not it's for everybody, but it speaks specifically to writers who are trying to find a rhythm of their quiet moment to sit and be productive.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that is very difficult. And for me, and I'm not married and I don't have a family. So I know for other people, that do, uh, that's very, very difficult,
Right.
because you're like, you're thinking about like a billion other things at
At the
once.
same time,
Yeah.
sure.
And
Hmm.
And so that's why I think it's very important to have your ritual and like have the things you love around you. Even, when because I actually, my ritual is leaving, going to different
Right.
countries because
Right.
that's where I get my inspiration and feel alive and feel very inspired. But I understand not everybody can do that. And
Right.
and so but I think it's really important to have some things around you that you love. And if you have to go do the dishes and wipe down your space, I
Mhm.
have to do that too, just to kind of get your mind centered.
Right.
That's fine. You just have to do what works for you.
Yeah.
um Another thing that I loved doing when, is when I was abroad, I love candles. Candles to me are luxury.
Hmm.
A beautiful, amazing smelling candle is luxury to me. I could be
Right.
in like a little shack and have an amazing candle, and I'm like, I'm living my best life.
You're
You know what
speaking
I mean?
Mercy's
Absolutely. Yeah,
that's
you're
Mercy's
speaking my
vibe right
language.
there.
I have three of them lit up. I love anything that's like lavender or relaxing, chamomile, something that's
Yeah.
just really
Yes,
grounded.
yes. And even in like some
That makes everything.
beautiful,
Yes.
I
Yep.
love the brand Ritual actually.
Yes.
I get their candles. But like I'll buy like a really nice candle and put it in my little studio when I'm abroad or whatever, because it really gets me into that zone. So sometimes to get you in the zone, it's very simple things. It's like what you consider like to be beautiful or luxury or something meaningful to you can get you
Absolutely.
to that place.
And I
Hmm.
think once you know, right? So
Yeah.
I with my kids, they're like, I don't know what to get you, mom. Usually if you want something, you just get it. So it's hard to get you something. But my oldest daughter was just in Paris for Christmas, and she came back, and sure enough, she brought me an absolutely gorgeous candle with a crystal dome. So the candle is in a marble base. It's solid marble.
Uh-huh.
It's from a store. Let me see.
Oh my gosh, that
Uh,
sounds beautiful. I want
oh my
it.
God, it was insane. It
I
was insane.
already
This was the store, but you had to wait in line forever. She said, I waited forever to get you this
it's like a
candle. She
very
goes,
special.
yes. So he works all day and people are there, but when you walk in, everything is an experience.
Mhm.
So they write your name on everything, they wrap it perfect. Like it's a whole experience to purchase a candle. So she said it took half my day to get you that one candle. And funny enough, when I came back and I was looking for the perfect place to put the candle, I realized I have different candles from different either places around the world or from my girls with special meaning because that's what they tend to gift me are candles.
Hmm.
So I
I
have
love that.
I was having this conversation yesterday with my husband because we're changing. I love decor, also new ideas and new decor, like just fill me.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I'm completely changing my family room. So I have this Joe Malone candle that has the three wicks. It's about this big. And he's like, are you ever gonna light that up? I feel like the top, we've had it for years. He goes, I feel like the top looks yellow. And I go, well, that's the oils have lifted at the candle. He goes, you ever gonna use it? I'm like, no, it brings me joy to look at it.
Yeah,
And he's
yes. See,
right.
I know. I know.
But
I have
he
the
tells me,
same.
but smell it. And I'm like, no, because then it's lit and then it's not pretty anymore. It's like I can't tell you. Some I light because I can get it again, and some I look at. And this is my I look at candle. He's like, all right, whatever. He was over it.
But
No,
do you
I'm
have
honestly so
you should
like you.
have
I'm so
confused girl candles.
I
We
should.
should.
The
Yeah, like
confused girl.
a whole little like
Yes, I love
a book
that.
That would
package
be
with a little
really
candle,
That'd be
cute.
so cool with the
a
cute
That would
matches.
be
crystal.
that would be really
Oh my
cute.
God, with the crystal. The crystal can be in the
Yes.
wax.
Yes, because the branding's so pretty. The colors, everything.
Oh
I
The
yeah,
love
and
font.
it.
then even if you take off the cover, did you see it's a rose quartz
Yes, it's like
crystal?
yes, yeah. I got like
I
a
know
I
it's
marble
so
didn't even
feel
beautiful.
from it.
I didn't even
I
I
do
know
did
it's
that.
that.
yeah, it's rose
Beautiful.
quartz crystal. Yeah.
Oh, I
It's
love
Wow.
that.
such a
And so
such
I
a
have
beautiful book.
one last question before this video kicks us out. Tell
Yes.
me, do you feel another book coming I think we're feeling the candles coming, but are we feeling another book?
I do feel another book coming. Yes, I do. I
Okay.
do.
Are
I
you
already
looking for
have an
ideas?
idea.
Okay. What's your idea? I'm going to throw travel in there for you, but
Well,
without any spoilers.
well,
yes.
actually, that's so. What one thing I've gotten from people is I wanted to read more about your travel experiences.
Right.
Mm.
Like that was one comment I got. Like I wanted more of that,
Yes.
and
Yes.
so this book I wanted to be really self help because I wanted to give people tools, and I wanted
Which
to
you
give
did beautifully.
thank you. And I wanted to give people tools from the perspective of like from one confused girl to the next that's learned some stuff. Because when I was going through a hard time and I was reading a bunch of self-help books, it was like all these like older gurus
Right.
and it felt like they had already figured out their life and it wasn't relatable. And I wanted something to be not preachy and more relatable because that's what I want. I needed and wanted. Um, and so that's this. But the next book, I don't really want to do self help. I want to do more like it's a story, and it's my story, right? And I kind of what I told you about the book getting published, my father passing, and then I my dad wanted to be buried in Italy, so that was the whole thing. And then I family drama, and then I went to Sicily and I had like some crazy experiences and I had some lovers and
Oh, okay. We're waiting for that one.
you let loose when you're in grief. Grief is a weird crazy thing. But I think it's a very beautiful like funny, sad, emotional, happy it's like all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to convey the lessons through this story versus actually, give tips to people.
Yeah.
Uh, so I feel like I did enough of that with Confused Girl, and now I want to move on to something a little different.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. I love it. I love it. So, will you be back when you have your next book?
Yes.
Absolutely,
Ready to
You
ladies.
hear all
better.
about it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Good, good,
Absolutely.
good.
Oh, so
And
how
so to
oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was going to ask the same question. Yeah.
How can our listeners find you?
Well, you can go to my Instagram at Confused Girl LA.
Mhm.
You can also go to my website, confusedgirlinthecity.com.
Love it.
And
Awesome.
Beautiful.
my books on
All the
Amazon
platforms.
and it's an audio, digital, and hardcover, as you see.
I love it.
Love
Yes, I
it.
love it. And thank you again. I know I thanked you prior to us recording, but thank you for the special autograph. I love
Yes.
it.
Of
Thank
We
you.
don't
Thank you.
always get autographs, so
of
We don't.
course,
So when we do,
you
we
miladies.
feel
really
special.
value them. Thank you.
Well,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much for having me. I really
Oh,
appreciate
our
you guys.
pleasure.
You are
Thank
a
you.
gem. Thank you.
Yes,
So,
it was
guys,
our pleasure.
please check out Giovanna's book, Confused Girl, Find Your Peace in the Chaos. It's available on Amazon website. Go to her Instagram, support her, and be on the lookout for the next book.
Yes, exactly.
Cannot wait. All right. So
All
get
right.
to
Do
writing
one
now.
final cheers. Cheers, Giovanna, to your
Here's
success
to Giovanna.
Cheers, ladies.
There's her espresso
Cheers.
right there.
and to your
My
story.
espresso.
Yes.
Keep sharing your story and your voice.
Mhm.
All
I
right, guys.
will.
Like,
Thank
share,
you.
follow, subscribe. We'll see you next
Absolutely.
time.
Bye, Giovanna.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, ladies. Bye.
Bye, sweetie.